I can't hear anyone. There we are. Okay, and Mark is coming into view. Maybe.
Yes, I'm on.
There you
Hello,
are.
Mark.
There you are. Okay. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Shall we start the meeting? All right, let's call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the pledge. Okay, the pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
United
States
States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, how's everybody this evening?
Terrific.
You okay?
Lovely.
Spring, right? This is spring
Almost.
thaw?
Feeling like it's starting.
They're saying snow again on Sunday or something, maybe? Oh, God, one thing
So is
after
that-
another, right? Stefan or Bill, is there anybody out there in public session? No? Okay,
I'm sorry, there's nobody in attendance right now.
okay, all right. And Stefan, do we have any correspondence?
No.
Okay, let's move right to the approval of the minutes. I trust everybody got a copy and was able to review it. This is the minutes. I got the right minutes from December, is that correct?
No, it should have been the minutes from January.
Yeah, I pulled down minutes from December.
Yeah, December 12th, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Is that the wrong ones were sent to us?
I thought that meeting was
apologize.
canceled.
Well, yes, that meeting was canceled. I should have, I thought I sent the ones from January, but I might have sent the wrong ones. Give me just one moment.
Okay,
No, you sent December.
yes, that's what I have too, December. I didn't even look at the date, to be honest with you, to check.
It's just now. It's
I just hit it just now. Mhm.
Agenda and minutes for next week. You are correct. No, I must have not updated those are the right minutes.
But it's just the date at the top that's not,
Yes,
Change?
exactly. Yeah, because it talks
Okay.
about the team's model, everything else. This was the meeting in January. I apologize. I didn't see that when I created the minutes. So maybe that's something to change. I apologize.
okay, we have something to edit there, that's right. And everybody was attended. In terms of the members present, we were all
Right.
there in January?
right.
Yes.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
John's first meeting. And he's on here too, so.
That's right. That is his first meeting. Okay, with that,
Should have
that
been
addition,
January
that
correction.
change on that, is there anything else to be changed on the minutes? Yeah, I think everything looks okay as I reviewed it. Anybody see anything?
Looking good.
Okay.
Looking good for everybody?
Mhm.
We don't have Nancy that edits the,
No.
who edits the grammatical mistakes that we may have had. We are not picking them up anymore. That's okay. All right. So all those in favor of approving the minutes?
I'm so moved.
Aye.
And there was somebody who just said they abstained. Did I hear that?
No,
No. Okay, all those in favor.
Was
is
there-
unanimous?
I'm sorry, was there?
I moved to open, to accept the minutes. You can move.
Okay, so John, is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, John, the two Johns. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so minutes that passed with that one change that we'll edit, the final edit for us.
Yes.
Okay. Stefan, you want to go on with the director's report, please?
Will do. Okay, so we no longer are doing the Teams model, thankfully. That went away on February 7th, and masks are now once again optional for visitors.
Oh,
and staff if they are fully vaccinated. An inquiry was made as to when we could start meeting back in person for town meetings. Unfortunately, we have not received a response as of now, but hopefully soon, before our March meeting, we'll hopefully have a answer to that. Okay.
mhm.
We already have started adding in our in-person events back into our events calendar. I should note we were doing that with the, we had already planned on this for several weeks now with the idea that, there was going to be a drop in the infections and we would be moving back towards in-person events. So this just allows us to make those events now live, and we will have people, able to register for those programs. And we're very excited about, once again, having in-person people come into the library. And finally, we also plan to reopen the children's play area effective on Monday, February 28th. That is the last big thing that has been missing from our services so far. And I should note something that has been, people have been wanting it to come back. So we're
Yeah.
very happy about that.
I too received a phone call about that, when that would open up again. So that's good.
The budget, so we submitted our budget for next year. Meeting went cryptically as always, which is probably just the way they like it. We did ask for increases in pay for our part-time staff, along with a restoration of our book budget and programming budget. So hopefully we'll get word of those approvals starting March 7th, when the first selectman has to submit her budget to the town. I should note this is just one of many steps for John and Mark, who have not been here during the budget season before. First, it goes to first selectman, then it goes to Board of Finance, then it goes to the town council's finance committee, and then after that, it goes to the town council. So this is just the first leg in the process. Friends, so the Friends are moving ahead with their April fundraiser. We are also, they are also participating in the Fairfield County Charitable Foundation's Giving Day on February 24th. This is an online event that's sponsored by the FCCF, as they are colloquially known. And it's an entirely, charitable event of many different Friends organizations, not just library Friends groups, but also, like, I think some of the museums, Westport County Playhouse, the theater, they have their own charitable group that goes along with them. There's a number of different, and then there's, regular sort of charitable trusts that are in Fairfield, that are Fairfield County, that are also raising money through this. So it's an online sort of day. There's a lot of marketing. We will also be pushing this on our social media channels, along with our newsletter, and hopefully we get some people to donate some money. I don't anticipate this being a ton of money, but it's donations, so it's always worth it. So hopefully it will become something good. And it's a new sort of fundraising to our Friends group. I'm sure many of you remember that the Friends pretty much only raise money through the book sales. So, and while we are not against bringing back some book sales in the future, I do want them to try and explore different things. So this would be a great first step. And then staffing. So we're in the process of finalizing the hiring of 4 new part-time staff members. One of which is going to the Fairchild Nichols Memorial Branch. The process to replace Linda Norell's position is still ongoing. Obviously, this is going to take a long time. It's a civil service position, so there are a lot of different steps in the process, and it's just at the beginning of it. That said, I can tell you that 2 of our librarian staff members are also planning on retiring. Walter Dembowski and Mary Rogers have indicated that they are going to be resigning in the next few months, which means that, we're going to have to start rolling out even more interviews in the process. But
I have a question.
yep.
So there were layoffs during the pandemic. Did you decide just to start fresh with all of the staff, or did you invite anyone else back?
No, we invited all the staff back. For the
Okay,
part-time
so-
staff. I will say the part-time staff were the only ones.
That's
that
what
were-
I'm talking about, the part-time?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fresh and new.
Well, no. These 4 staff members are all filling in positions that we had.
Okay.
Some of which, we have had some people that, gone on to, some of the ones we hired, 2 of them we hired, they got jobs, full-time jobs elsewhere. One person went to the not the Easton school district, but whatever school district that Easton is in, it's hard to compete with a full-time job. So, and then, we have other people that are retiring and things of that nature. I think a lot of people have taken this as an opportune time after the pandemic is over to kind of start moving on with their lives. And it's something we expected. And I believe that, when it comes to some of the people that are retiring, if it were not before the pandemic, they would have probably retired last year, maybe the year before.
Yeah.
2 questions. The Linda Norell's position as the interlibrary,
Yes.
was that, okay, so that's got a lot of, a little bit more complicated, right? I mean.
That position is not actually a librarian position. That is what's called an administrative support. And so technically that's the classification for that position, but that has to go through a testing process with civil service. The librarian positions for Walter and for Mary Rogers, they are also civil service, but they go through a different process where we invite professional, like usually library directors from other towns, to come, and they form a panel and they have a panel interview, which then they score these people. And then only after that do I get a list of people who are then interviewed for these positions.
Was
They're both
Mary,
very high skilled positions, both of them, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
was Mary Rogers the one who
More
helped with
difficult.
the computers?
Yes. Yeah. She's the associate director of information technology.
So
Although we might,
whoever-
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say whoever replaces her will continue to help patrons in terms of the computer technology piece?
Yes. So I should note there's two elements to that job. Like one of which is technology oriented. She deals a lot with the databases, the website, making sure that the catalog works and is operational and up to date. And then the other part of it is technical services, which is processing all of the books and materials that come into the library system, making sure that they have the appropriate records attached, and seeing, and then and managing those staff members that are involved in that process. So it's a much more technical job than a regular librarian job. Whereas Walter's position is more of a classic sort of adult services programming and collection development role, where they're buying books and doing readers advisory and that type of thing.
Okay, and just going back to the children's play area, the phone call that I received today also wondered whether or not we would be, and maybe this is more of a, if the town permitting us to do that, wanted to know when the story time and those kinds of things would occur.
We already were adding them back in. I will say, I'm going to let my, I know that the staff have been working on bringing back those programs. I don't know when. I know that we had already planned on bringing back in-person story time in January, prior to the Omicron spike.
Right.
And so, those plans just got delayed. I'm not sure when we're going to bring them back, but I'm fairly certain it's just going to be, March or something of that nature. We have already several story times already set up, meaning that, those slots were taken by online programs for which people had already registered. But we will, sort of envelope in the new in-person programs as we go forward.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions for Stefan?
Yeah, actually, on that same topic, I'm just out of curiosity, what are all the different ways that's communicated to the public when these things start opening up?
Well, I will say, our social media, but a lot of the people that learn of the programs, they do so because they're coming into the building. We have big posters and flyers and things of that nature. We have a table in the children's room, for instance, where it shows all the upcoming programs, and they can take them with them. We have a newsletter. We promote that in the newsletter, and of course it goes online. We have I will say our new calendar that we implemented at the end of last year is really nice, and it will also send you reminders, and it allows us to create contact lists from people that have attended similar programs in the past, and then we can use those in order to connect with patrons. So we have our ways, trust me, that's not a problem. And I will say over the past year, in-person programs have not been that great in terms of attendance. People that come have had a great time and they've enjoyed themselves, and it's been good. But it's not so much that we weren't able to have the programs. It was more that people were afraid of coming to the programs. And especially when it comes to some of the like one of our book clubs, for instance, the nonfiction book club, that's usually incredibly well attended. Any book club that has more than like 20 people show up, that's a really good book club, and it's very hard to do. But a lot of the people that were in the book club, they're older, and those people. So what we ended up doing with that was we kind of created a hybrid program where we both had Zoom going and people coming in person. And that has been working, but you can't do that for some other types of programs, right? So, I do feel like, I'm hopeful that this is going to be the last, COVID related spike. And in so doing, we are able to then move ahead and really kind of come back to in-person programs moving forward. And I want to get back to doing concerts. I want to get back to doing large-scale things that really require in-person events. And I think everybody's looking forward to that as well.
Any other questions for Stefan? All right, thank you so much. John, treasurer's report?
Yeah. Well, in January, the board received the last of its the 3 trust fund grants, this being the Merwin Trust Fund. This year's contribution was uncharacteristically below the average for the past 4 years. All of these trust funds are run by a town-appointed manager. And I don't know, Merwin is actually, I think, invested through JP Morgan. I understand all the banks had a great year. But anyway, our contribution is dictated by the managers, and we get what we get. But anyway, it is lower. If you take all the 3, now we have all 3, which, as you know, are the Hawley, the Merwin, and the Mallet. If you add these all together, the total grant monies are in the about 30 some odd thousand plus some. But nonetheless, they're about 11% lower than the average for the last 4 years. So I would say that we are some financial strain compared to where we have been historically. And of course, we don't have book income and things like that. The only other income that we often would get or can get are memorial contributions. And during this last month, we did get a $500 memorial contribution. Relative to spending continues at a very modest levels, about $1450 over this last month. Is principally spent for printed book purchases. That accounted for about 60% of that number. There were some program expenses which used mallet funds, about 8%, and the remainder used accrued a book sale income to cover the holiday gift cards that we gave to the staff for the past holiday, and of course for the monthly rental that we run. That is basically the end of the activities for the board funds. Just for the board's information, spending by the library against their budget now that it's 7 months into the fiscal year, it's just very slightly above budget. I think if you got the spreadsheet, you see we're about 5% over budget, but this is only mid-year, and that's to be expected. Kind of the end of report.
Okay, anybody have any
Questions?
questions for John? No? All right, thank you very much, John.
I have a question for John.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see
That's
that.
okay.
Carol. Go ahead.
That's really poor performance on those funds. How do you feel about that? Like, is there any opportunity to talk with these fund managers, or, we're not experts, but how much input is the town finance committee, or, who oversees those managers? I don't know if you know, but
It's getting a little bit beyond my pay grade on this.
yeah.
It comes directly pretty much to Lewis. Just to give an idea of things, Hawley over the last 4 or 5 years has been pretty much at about 5,000 thereabouts every year. And this year is like almost 7. So they're a little bit nicer to us this year.
Yeah,
The mallet has been pretty well straight 7,000 per year. Mallet, is used for programs only, and the Hawley and the Merwin are used for books and things of that nature. The disappointment has been with Merwin. I don't understand why it's so low. The town appoints the managers, and we kind of, I don't know what our redress is, how we actually look at how things are. I would say though that if you look at over the years, since the numbers are constant, it tells you right now that inflation is taking a bite into all of this.
Yeah.
So we're in a downward slope as far as expendable monies, but it's slow, but nonetheless, it's there. How that's readdressed, I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you.
true. Yeah, that's discouraging. And I don't know how much in terms of the budget they're going to be willing to give us increases either. So
I can reach out to the town and find out, what's going on with the Merwin Trust in terms of who the trustees are, and seeing about opening up a line of communication.
I understand from Lewis that the appointees for that trust are new. And so I don't know who they are and what the communication line is. I think the mallet is pretty much through the Tellelian law firm. I don't know who does the Hawley.
I think Hawley is actually through Fairfield County Community Foundation, because
okay.
they run trusts as well for these nonprofits.
Right. But these are all pieces of packages. I think the Merwin is awful only for library. I think it's only from one library. I don't, historically, it might have been the residual from the libraries that used to be before they were merged into this one single library plus the branch. But you expect at least a 4% increase to keep up with. if you're in pretty safe in investment, you should do that. Should beat inflation anyway.
No
John, this is
Bitcoin.
Mark.
No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
I was
John, I
just
have a
making
question for
joke.
you.
No Bitcoin.
And Mark is trying to say something. Go ahead, Mark.
A Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Yeah, John, I'm assuming we're being charged a fee, right? Whoever's managing those funds for us, there's a fees. Is that fees like constant, whether the funds is performing well or in a year like this, when it's bad? When it's not performing so well?
I didn't understand your question.
He wanted to know if the fees for these funds are constant, or are they increasing, or what?
As I said, I don't know. It's at my level, and I don't know, maybe even at Lewis, this is kind of a black box, and and something spills out of it. So I don't know the details of their performance and their fees and whatever. I'm sure there's a fee to everything. Whether it's outrageous is the question. I'm surprised though, because last year the Merwin was very nice to us. We had got 20,600.
Yeah,
And this time we got like 13,900. So that's the
Right.
big, that's a hurtful bite. And I don't understand that. All the other years have been anywhere from about typically $19,000 each year. Anyway, what it means is that our ability to help support some of the library programs is obviously constrained because of that. That's why it'd be good to find out whether the town would be nicer to the town library budget, or and also to find out. I personally would like to know more about how these numbers are arrived at, but historically it just kind of arrives like a baby on the steps. So.
Mhm. Yeah.
Stefan, do you think maybe for our next meeting, either if Louis can address it, or if he wants to send us something prior
We
to the
can-
meeting?
I don't know
There are-
how much information he has about this, but I can certainly talk to him and we can go from there. And then if I mean, like some of it is, I mean, with the Fairfield County Community Foundation, they should have that information in writing for, the Hawley Trust. But with the Merwin Trust, because it's, basically appointed individuals, I don't know what exactly goes into their, thinking, what parameters that they have, because it's not the same kind of, unless it's been outsourced to another like actual business. I don't know if they have some sort of writing to go into, but we can reach out to the town and find out at least who is the trustees when it comes to Merwin, since clearly that's
Yeah, and I think to address Mark's question about the fees that are charged to manage these funds, I think that's what you were asking. Is that correct, Mark?
Well, the fees are, is that, yeah.
Yes,
I don't
that's
know.
correct. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, you were asking, and did those fees remain the same?
Yes,
over
whether the
years?
funds have performed well or not so well. Yeah, like this, I know the market's been taking a beating in the last quarters or so. Like the last year hasn't been so good for the market.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
I just don't know how the fees are arrived at. We're kind of constrained into who the investing vehicles are. They're chosen for us.
Right,
And
exactly.
way back in history, going back probably 50 years. And so, and you kind of get what you can have. But I think for our own benefit, it'd be good if we had some resolutions, just to understand what's going into the monies that we get, and see if there are any questions. I presume that the town, in making their appointments, are using some diligence of picking the right kind of people to manage these funds. And then, as I said, well, I believe the Merwin was through Morgan Chase, and I know that all the banks had great year last year. They gave their executives big bonuses.
Mhm.
You think that some should spill into the dividends to their people, to their clients.
Mhm.
That's my point, John. That's my beef with those Wall Street guys, right? Sometimes like they're doing well, the fund's not doing well, but personally, they don't take any risk. They get the same funds and the same fees. They keep charging their fees whether the fund's performing well or not. That's my issue.
Except I don't know if we can negotiate the fees, and I don't, we can certainly can negotiate and find somebody else to do it for us, at least at this point in time, and from what I know. I just don't know, maybe it's a good idea to, at this point, to find out what's going on. Knowledge is power, so let's find out what we can.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, gentlemen, too, for bringing that up. That's good. Okay, Fairchild, Mary, Gail, anything to report? Who's on first?
Hey there, I was unmuting.
Oh, okay.
We had our meeting and we were remote when we met. We're still remote again. The issue, unfortunately, I don't have my notes with me, but the biggest issue is that we have another issue with the elevator. And it looks like we're going to not have an elevator working there for several weeks into months because we need to have repairs made that it's going to be a whole new elevator. This on top of the fact that we tried to brainstorm and come up with other solutions, but we really do think we need an elevator for the building. Gail, could you please share what you discussed about what you learned about the Disability Act and buildings, two-story
Yeah,
buildings?
Yeah, that was interesting. The issue is we are going forward definitely from Cone to Otis. That is definite. But in this little time period now, there's a problem with the closing of the doors. So it was, do we put more money into that when we know we're going to get a new elevator? So we decided we're going to just wait and get the new elevator. And according to ADA, any two-story building does not have to have an elevator. It's not necessary. Okay, but of course the elevator is there, so of course we're going to replace it. Any programming that is on the second floor can come down to the first floor if someone is disabled. And that staff is very nice that they're going to help any moms with strollers and kids and books. And then actually there's one board member who's young and, he's like, I plan to stay in Nichols for the next 30, 40 years. So he had some interesting perspective in trying to figure out how the original staircase in the front could possibly be ramped so that we would be able to get to the second floor if the elevator wasn't working. So that's an interesting perspective, having a younger guy, just starting out, his life in Trumbull, in Nichols. That was interesting. But we definitely voted to go forward with the new elevator, which is multi-tiered.
And we were so encouraged last month that you had someone on the scene and he was going gung ho and I think he is, but you kind of like hit a little snag here, I think, from what I'm understanding, right?
Right. The new snag with the elevator doors not closing is causing us to have to either spend more money to have this corrected and then have it all changed
Doesn't make
again.
sense.
Right.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
it does.
So we were happy to
Doesn't.
hear about Gail's discovery about the two-story building, not needing an elevator, and the fact that we can move on with just replacing the elevator.
And will you look further into that ramp? That's
I
an
think that the
interesting
board
thing.
discussed it and felt that it was not a good idea for our,
Okay.
it would require our staff to run up and down stairs frequently. And the discussion was possibly interior, possibly exterior. It would mean people running up and down stairs. It would be a major tax on staff members. And I think that we decided it was not really doable.
It also to be a very long ramp because as a point of reference, the ramp that we have in our library takes you from down into that lower section. It's too steep. And so, if we had to do anything to the building, we'd have to address that. That's why we were talking about an elevator in our own things. Are you vulnerable in in violation of the Disabilities Act that you don't have, even though it's mostly kids use that library?
Well, because the Disability Act is for people who have a disability,
Right.
not necessarily a mom, pushing a stroller. Okay,
Right.
although obviously whoever put that elevator in originally was conscientious to be nice to the patrons. And of course, we want to continue that. But I have to say, after that discussion, I'm pretty sure we're all going to go back in that library and look at that original staircase in the front. Okay, just to look at it.
Well, John is absolutely right. I remember when we took the stairs out of the hallways at Hillcrest, the ramping, because of the gradation, had to be extended, and then the handrails on the side. So it did take more space because, you couldn't have a steep ramp. You had to make it. And so that presents a little bit more problem in terms of taking away floor space or wherever.
We could
and
have a whole first floor. If we were to
and
do that,
the
it
staff
would be
is
able to.
the staff is very, very nice there. So even if you're not disabled and you need to get something on the second floor, we would do what we do in school. Anything on the second floor, has to come down to the first floor.
Right.
Or
right.
you have an employee that was temporarily disabled and couldn't get to the second floor, then that staff would have to have a place to work on the first floor.
Right.
But everybody is so accommodating there. It's really not going to be, we don't see it being an issue until the brand new library, from Cone to Otis, we will see. Okay.
Well,
we
you're
will see.
right.
I have good news. Today at 3:30, I was sworn in by Vicky. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. I've been on this board since June. Okay. But I guess whoever her administrative assistant is right on top of it. Alicia. She's pretty cool. So that happened at 3:30 today via Zoom.
Very good. Well, welcome aboard officially. And in
Yeah.
fact, when we get under new business, I've got something to tell you about the rest of us who are in arrears and not really legitimately on this board.
A little legitimate, we serve at the pleasure.
Right. No. I got something else, but I don't want to, I'll wait. But congratulations, you're officially on board. And so now your ending date term expires is not June 2021.
I thought it was very quick and I was still at work and I, didn't know how to get the Wi-Fi on. Okay, so I held her up a little bit, but I believe she said from December 21 to December 24. But I'm going to get the appointment letter.
And then
Alicia,
you'll
I will share
you'll let Judy know, so we can
Yeah.
get it updated on the roster with. the
yes,
term.
once I get the, after that, Alicia said that she'd be sending me the official letter. So I will.
Terrific.
Okay.
Very
And
good.
I get the other thing was Colleen Katz is a new staff member. Okay, correct. Okay, got hired at the branch. And all of Paula's programs are really very popular. So she'll be thrilled if they can start coming back in person. But she said they're very popular, the pickup programs where you come in, pick up something and do it at home. She said they're very popular.
Very good.
And the music programs, she said, are the ukulele.
Oh,
No.
What?
Westport Library did that.
Yeah.
Very popular because it's
Okay.
very easy to learn, very quick.
And we
I
bought
just
some
have a question on the
ukuleles there.
I have a question on the elevator. I'm just curious if the fact that it's going to take a long time, is that like part of the whole pandemic, shipping delays and all that you're like in line?
I believe it
That-
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
it could be,
curious.
yeah.
Yeah.
But one expense is the they have to prep it. So
Mhm.
that's one whole large expense and that's got to be done by somebody else. And then Otis could come in and do their thing. So there's a lot involved for that little
Yeah,
tiny,
it sounds it.
yeah, that's unbelievable.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any
I was
other
just I
questions?
was curious if how much of it was related to supply chain. That's what I'm just curious about, how things are easing up or not, in construction in general. But
True.
okay.
Well, thank you for the report, and it's nice to hear that the elevator is back on the report again. We missed it. Thank you. Okay, old business, the memorial. All right, everybody, I hope at this point has seen the wording that we were looking at. And also got copies from Stefan, from Don about the different size plaques. Let's take this in steps. The wording itself, how does that look to everyone? John, I think in the last email, you had talked about something being enlarged. You had said in appreciation or something?
Hold on. That's, you're talking appearance now. Wording is one thing. No.
Okay, whatever.
Just to address your point. It starts out in appreciation of,
Yeah,
and they're all square print letters, some kind of whatever the font is. My
Right.
only thought was just to set it off, make the appreciation of in script, in cursive, and then the rest being square. That's just a matter of appearance now.
okay, in cursive. Okay, we can run that. Stefan, we can run that by Don, see what he feels, because he's got a better look at how things would appear. Okay, so is the wording itself though, and
everyone see the
John, you're
wording?
right. Is
Do you
that,
want me to share it on the screen so that you can see it?
Yeah, I think you
Sure,
need to do
why
that.
not? Yeah,
I'm not sure everybody has seen it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
just looking for the email. I haven't. No, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Yeah.
okay,
So this is the layout for how it will look. That this is using his computer, and like a program that works with the engraving machine. So this is how it would look. At least one of the images. The other one is this one. Yeah.
yes,
So this is the other way that it would appear in a landscape form instead.
right.
And I think this is the one that you like, right? The landscape version.
Yeah, the landscape's very attractive.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then having in deep appreciation will be in cursive, right? And then the rest would be normal.
well, let's check with him too and see how how he feels visually that will be. Because we're gonna be mixing cursive just for in deep appreciation, and then everything else is block lettering.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, let's see how he feels, and we're gonna do it landscape, not what's on the screen now. That's
Yeah, sorry, that's the wrong one.
right, that's vertical.
This one. So landscape, and then seeing if this part here, the in deep appreciation, can be made into cursive, right?
Right.
right.
Which I don't think should be a problem, but
No, I don't think it'd be a problem for him to do it. I'm just wondering how that would look.
Oh, yeah, we have to see, yeah.
You know, what we can have his, because he's done this more than we have, so how he does it.
It's all dependent upon font collection, font selection,
Yeah, no, right. Right,
these
The
are
other- So there's one down there that has cursive on top, and I guess the letters are block or below it, the
Right.
one just.
right. Okay, and then the next thing to take a look at is the actual plaque that it's mounted on.
so
And go ahead, John, go ahead, Stefan.
so these ones here are what's called a piano finish with rosewood. So it's what's kind of a little red, and then you have a choice of the different actual engraving metal. So there's gold with black with gold lettering, and you can also have silver with black with silver lettering, and I'm guessing some sort of, like, you can have different lacquer if you really want for the color. Price wise, it really just depends on how big of a plaque we're considering. It's $80 for like a 9x10 or 9x12. Sorry, 8x10 is $70.50. 9x12 is $79.50, and then 12x15 is $120.
Okay, there were two, did you send us two photos?
Yes. The other one is on this side here.
Right, right. That's the squared off one. So John, you had, again, you had come back saying you like the black with the gold lettering, and I kind of agree with that too. And the fact that now it's whether or not you want to have it sculpted or squared off the way that is, right there. What does everybody feel? Or any thoughts on that?
Talking about a simpler frame, a simpler boundary, or a more
Yeah.
innate one. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the decision to be made.
Yeah,
Not-
you
not-
know,
Not the shape, just whether it be more innate or simple.
yeah, and the other slide that you had,
Mhm.
I like the one, well, personally, the one on the lower left, yep, that one right there on the bottom, science.
Science across the world.
Yeah, that kind of appealed to me. It's not ornate, it's just plain and simple and clean lines, but I don't know how everyone else feels.
I like it.
I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I
that,
only
and,
like
It's
the kind
okay.
of part. It's a
Simple
little-
is good.
That's fine.
and,
Yep.
yeah, and we're looking at a 9x12. Is that what I don't think we want a 12x15. Personally, I think the 9x12 is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no objections, we'll go with that one. That's that science across the world, but it won't be science across the world, obviously, and it'll be a 9x12.
Right.
Oh.
In landscape.
Oh, that's correct. Turn the other way, right? Yes, in a landscape, yes, not.
Everybody sure on landscape, just want to take a vote on that, right? But a vote, get somebody to say yay, nay, or
Oh,
decide.
okay, sure. Who wants to make the motion?
Anyone particular care, any discussion? I'm just bringing up the idea, that's all.
Okay.
Everybody happy with which way?
John, you want to make the motion then?
I don't think I make a motion.
Well, we have to-
Let's just go around what people think about landscape versus,
I agree with John. It sounds like Mary agrees with John. Anybody opposed
to what? Yeah, landscape?
to having a landscape presentation? No, sounds like that works for
I
everybody.
think that, yeah, I'm not hearing anything, so I think that works.
I mean, are there any other plaques that they're going near that matters? I mean, or is this the first one that's going up?
That's a good point. What does the rest of the library look like?
Well, we kind of like are unsure as to, we thought we knew where we were going to place it, but now we're unsure of that. And we can address that, but John, to answer your question, no other plaques have gone up like this.
But if I might interject, we might want to consider, like getting the plaque and then trying to figure out like if it works in the location that we would like it to be, right? So, I mean, having it physically in front of you, I think is going to make a big difference in terms of where we might put it in the actual library.
You're
Yeah,
right.
I guess my consideration was if it's a landscape and everything else is portrait, does it? But if it's gonna be kind of
It
unique
would-
to where it's at, then it probably
It's-
doesn't matter, and landscape would look just fine.
It'll be unique to where it is. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
there won't be any other plaques.
Okay. Do we need a motion to vote on going ahead with this and spending the money?
Well, yeah, probably to spend the money.
That's what I thought. All right. Would someone like to make a motion, please?
Yeah, make a motion that we order a plaque for Joan B. Hamel. That would be in gold with black background, in landscape, with cursive for in appreciation of, to be reviewed. And what else I have to say? In the style of whatever that style is.
Science across the world, whatever
Yeah.
that one was, right?
Right.
I'll figure that out tomorrow. But yes.
Figure it out, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. John, just want to add on that we're going for a 9x12, the size?
And 9x12.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Gail. All right. Any other discussion on this? No? All those in favor? Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Okay, abstentions? All right, so the motion carries, and Stefan, you'll go back to Don and let him know what we're looking at. All right, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, new business. Okay, Gail brought up a good point here about being appointed, which is very nice. Now, Judy called me earlier and to tell me that Alicia said that 3 of us, which we know, John, myself, and Carol, our terms had expired. And you've got everyone's got the new roster with the term, the dates when our terms expired. If we want to continue to be on the board, we have to write a letter to Vicky addressing the fact that we do want to be reappointed to the library board. We have to include the dates of when our term had expired and send it to Alicia. And then she'll decide whether or not we are reappointed. So, I would also suggest that when that letter is written, it's also CC'd Stefan. So he's also on that as well.
Yes,
So
please.
yes. And so I also asked Judy if rather than sending 3 separate letters, can we incorporate one letter and put all 3 of us on? I'm assuming that we all 3 want to remain on the library board. One letter asking for all 3 of us to be reappointed. Carol, John, what are your thoughts about that? I'm assuming you want to be reappointed.
I already wrote a letter. I don't know when it was, but maybe November of last year, something like that. Saying my term was overdue.
I don't
But
think,
it
I
looks
don't
like
think-
we need to address that. So I don't know.
Well-
I mean, personally, I think I would just do my own letter.
okay. All right, John?
All 3 letters is all right with me. It just is more efficient than my idea. But it doesn't matter.
I didn't want one of us to get lost in the shuffle there, that she realizes there's 3 library board members that really need to be reappointed.
But I meant like not like all 3 of us equally, is what you're saying.
No, no, because we all, well, I don't know, we all expired at different times.
Right.
I mean, I'm the oldest one here, 2018. And then Carol, you were 2020, and John, you were 2019.
Mhm.
Okay, so what are we saying here? We're all gonna write our own letters and send it to Vicky, send it to Alicia, address it to Vicky, and put when our term expired on it, put Stefan as on copy. Is that all set?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so we'll get that handled. And now the only other one is Mary, you know, your term expires in December, or did expire in December of 2021.
I have to have my Zoom conference with Vicky and get resworn in. I will do that this week.
Okay, so you don't need to write a letter, you're saying?
I received an invitation for a Zoom
Oh, you
swearing
did?
in.
Very nice.
So
Okay,
don't,
okay.
why don't each of us get an invitation to?
Well, I was gonna ask that,
I quite
but
understand that.
I don't
I mean,
know.
we're the board, we're not exactly branch people.
Wait, Mary, I'm not sure why Mary needs to be resworn, why anyone would need to be resworn.
Well, her
That's
term
right.
expired.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why? I don't know.
yes, okay.
I don't know.
But Mary, you didn't ask to get resworn, right? Or did you?
I did not.
So I don't see why, I don't
received
see why the 3 of us are being handled any differently.
I don't
I-
know.
I can't answer that. I don't know. But that's the latest from what Judy had said. Alicia had given her that information, that if we in fact wanted to remain on the board, we have to write a letter to Vicky
Mhm.
explaining that we want to remain on the board and our term had expired on thus and such a date, and please reappoint us. And I don't know anything other than that. So what, let's start from that, go from there, see what happens.
You can do this by email. They don't have to do anything more than that, right? What's
I
the
assume so.
format? Huh?
I was not told. I don't know.
What does she want? A formal letter or what?
Sounded to me like it was a formal letter, but I could be wrong.
Let's find out.
Well, it's not that formal. I could look what I did. I think I ran into someone somewhere and I asked and they said, just make your intentions clear to the first selectman that you'd like to continue to serve. And I did that. I think it was around election time. It was probably around election time. And I said I wanted to continue to serve. These were my terms. But I didn't hear back. And I think it's because it was election time. So
Did you send a letter?
Not a letter. I put it in the body of an email.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what John was
I
asking.
included my term, my term expiration date, and I wanted to continue to serve. And I said in my note, as far as I know, everyone wants to continue to serve. I did add that. I'll just resend it myself tomorrow. I think we should all do it separately.
Yeah,
personally.
all right. So John, let's send an email.
Okay, just so we all do the same thing? Or you sending, we're doing it via email?
I sent mine to Cindy Katsky, so I should have sent it to Alicia Altabelli.
That's what I'm hearing
So
now.
I will look up her email on the town website, and I
You
will.
sent to her and copies go to Stefan and?
It's
and
addressed
also
to Vicky. Excuse me?
Or I'll, yeah. I think I would send it to Alicia and Vicky personally.
Yeah, it seems to me, yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
She's just administrative
the-
assistant. She's like making decisions.
Alicia was so professional just with dealing with me. She was like so on, I don't know who she is, but I'm so impressed with her. So now that you're all talking about this, it obviously seems like she just put this on her list of things to do and she's getting it done.
I think so.
She was
yes.
so awesome to me, so efficient. And that was just with me. And my name got submitted way back in June, officially, a letter. So I think that's what I think.
Well, Carol's sending it to Kasky, who is actually on Vicky's direct staff. She's a direct report to Vicky at a higher level than is Alicia. Alicia's
but
the administrative assistant.
but I
Alicia
think
did everything.
Alicia is handling it. So I agree with what Gail is saying. Let's follow what the message that came down to Judy today was to write a letter. We need to write a letter to Vicky, but send it to Alicia. And I think that's what we'll do via email.
So we're gonna send it then to Alicia, copy it
Yes.
to Vicky.
No, it's addressed to Vicky, but the letter gets sent to Alicia. So you say, dear first selectman, whatever.
I know that. I'm just on the email. It's gonna be who is to.
It just sounds like Alicia's the gatekeeper, so we give it to Alicia and she makes sure it gets put in front of Vicky. So I am not going to send it to Vicky now. I will just send it to Alicia, about 3 sentences maximum.
Right.
That's
Right.
it.
I
Right.
could spell the last name. I can't type it this fast in the chat. Okay, if you want me to give it to you.
You have it, go ahead.
I sent it to, I sent an email to everyone just now with her
Okay.
name and email address in it.
Thank
Perfect,
you.
Okay, that's
perfect.
good.
Okay. Okay, any other questions about this? All right, any other new business? Nothing else? I think we've
Motion
covered.
to adjourn?
Sounds
Have you
good.
anything new about any new members? We know we are still short-staffed.
Yes.
Yes, we're down still 2 members, correct. We may be down more if she doesn't reappoint us.
That's true.
I
All
think
your
that we
friends.
I'm not holding my breath.
I think we each remind them, that there are vacancies
Yes,
in the letter. Yeah.
we can put
I-
that in the
I
letter.
thought I did that in spades in December, but all right.
I've done it personally.
Do it in
I've done
spades.
it personally, speaking to her many times, to Vicky many times, but it was at other events. So there was a lot going on in her head at that time, I'm sure. So this sounds like it's much better. And you're right, Gail. I think Alicia's really on top of this and we'll see it through. Okay. So Carol made a motion to adjourn. Do I see a second or hear a second? Gail, thank you. All right, all in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Good night.
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.